Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Professor Ming's Strategic Insights. Ms. Zheng Liwen, the chairperson of the KMT, also known as the Nationalist Party, the largest opposition party in Taiwan, was invited to visit Beijing on April the 7th to the 12th. And she was received by Xi Jinping, the Secretary General of the Chinese Communist Party, on the 10th in Beijing, of course. They held a public meeting for a couple of hours and then followed by a closed-door meeting in the afternoon. And there was some news release. We'll talk about it later. But anyway, this is a kind of important because the last summit meeting for the two party leaders happened, actually 10 years ago. And it was Xi Jinping here on the Beijing side, and it was Ms. Hong, another chairperson from the KMT, on the Taiwan side. So this is important. Anyway, this matter deserves further analysis. Let me begin by looking at what they said in the meeting. Start from Xi Jinping. Basically, Xi Jinping said this. First, he said, we're facing major changes in international relations for 100 years. Does it sound familiar? Remember a couple of years back when Xi Jinping visited Moscow, Putin treated him with a state banquet. After the banquet, Putin walked him out. As they reached the hallway, Xi Jinping stopped and turned around and said to Putin, he said, we are now facing major changes in international relations for 100 years, and let's work together to promote it. What does that mean? Actually, in the words of communist jargon, that means let's work together to overthrow the hegemony or the international order established and still dominated by the United States. That's exactly what he means. And today he's saying the same thing, just leaving the second part. Let's work together to promote it and to make it come true. And that's something he didn't say to Ms. Zheng. But anyway, the background or the idea is there, and that's for sure. And the second thing Xi Jinping said to Chairperson Zheng is that both sides of Taiwan Strait want peace, and we want to work together. Remember what I told you before? When the communists say, well, we want peace and let's work together, that means only one thing. Well, eventually, I will take you out. I will overthrow you. I will defeat you. I'll incorporate you. But why would I want to say peace now? Because I don't think I'm strong enough to do that. So I have to sweet talk to paralyze you and to numb you, and so that you'll lose your guard, and eventually I'll get enough strength and to defeat you. And that's what they mean. So when they say, well, yeah, let's have peace and let's work together, that means they want something from Taiwan, but they don't think they have enough strength to do it. That's why he wants to say something sweet to paralyze Chairperson Zheng. The third thing Xi Jinping said is we both parties, the KMT and the CCP, we both uphold the 1992 consensus, and we both oppose Taiwan independence. It's just like the password for the two parties, for the KMT party and also for the CCP party. So it doesn't really take an expert. It doesn't take an expert of Chinese politics to understand what Xi Jinping is saying. He's actually repeating the official line of their party and of the government for decades. There's actually nothing new. And secondly, he's using these words, or he's saying this just to drive a wedge in Taiwanese politics, try to divide up the political parties inside Taiwan and then take them up one by one. And as we mentioned before, the time he chose to have this meeting with Chairperson Zheng is just to add an additional card in his own hands to deal with Trump when Trump is supposed to meet him in Beijing and in mid-May. So these are what he has in mind, basically. Then what did Chairperson Zheng say? She said first, rejuvenation of China is a common value to both sides of the Taiwan Strait. To a certain extent, that's correct and that's true. Because the division of China in 1949 is not only a consequence of a civil war between the KMT party and the Communist Party, but also it's a rivalry, or it's like a competition between two models. For the Nationalist Party who fled to Taiwan, it was the three principles of people invented by Dr. Sun Yat-sen, the founding father of the Republic of China, the Nationalist Party. And it's pretty much like a capitalist model with a touch of socialism. And on the mainland side, for the Chinese Communist Party side, is sheer communism. It's very dogmatic, and it's very strict. So it's like a Stalin type economy and Stalin type of politics also. So we're talking about the consequence of the competition between the two models, the Taiwan model and the mainland model. Should mainland China adopt the Taiwan model or the three principles of people's model, or the Sun Yat-sen's model, instead of the communist model, then there would be no Korean War. There would be no political campaigns like 3 antis and 5 antis, and the anti-rightist movement, and crackdown on the so-called anti-revolutionary movement. And there would be no Great Leap Forward, and no Great Famine, no Cultural Revolution, and no Tiananmen Massacre, and no crackdown on Falun Gong. And there would be no unnecessary death for more than 80 million Chinese people. So it's a tragedy on mainland for the past several decades. And should they adopt the road of three principles of people, like what we had in Taiwan for so many years, then mainland would be pretty much like Taiwan, like a super big Taiwan, with $40,000 per capita income, and very advanced technology, and very wealthy life, and a very peaceful life. So it's easy to tell which model is more successful, which is less successful. So when she talked about rejuvenation of China, well, she should have a little bit more self-confidence in her own part. So that's the first thing she said. The second point Chairperson Zheng made was like that both sides should work together to seek an institutionalized resolution to avoid war and conflict across the Taiwan Strait, so that the Taiwan Strait can be a model for a peaceful revolution of conflict for the world. Well, the idea is good. Well, we have to say that it is good. But the question is, how can we find an institutionalized resolution? Or in the eyes of Chinese communists, would it be acceptable, or would it be better than so-called the one country, two systems they've been developing for so many years, actually for so many decades, if you're familiar with the history across the Taiwan Strait. When talking about the one country, two system formula, the best example is Hong Kong. Look at Hong Kong now. Look at what happened in Hong Kong now. So is it trustworthy, or is it acceptable to the Taiwanese people, or even to the world? So this is a serious problem. Let me say this. Seeking peace is a good idea, but the question is who you're talking to, and whether they're really negotiable or not. So that's the real issue. The second observation is that prior to reaching Beijing, that Chairperson Zheng stopped at Nanjing, the capital city of Republic of China, prior to 1949. And she made a speech there, and she condemned the Japanese invasion 11 times in her speech, saying things like Japan launched an invasive war against China, and that hurt Chinese people a lot, and they even colonized Taiwan, and they ruled Taiwan brutally, and things like that. Well, yeah, that's true. That's history. But the question is, why do you say things like this right now, at this moment? So it comes to the question of political ordering, how to order your friends and how to order your enemies. Let's do a brief review of history to get things straight. First question. Yes, the nationalist government, or the KMT government, withdrew to Taiwan. Who made this happen? were we defeated by Japan and then we fled to Taiwan, or were we defeated by the Communist Party and then we fled to Taiwan? It was the Communist Party. It's not the Japanese. So that's the first question. The second thing is nowadays, in April 2026, who's one who wants to overthrow the Republic of China or want to invade Taiwan or to incorporate Taiwan? Is it Japan or is it Communist China? Isn't that clear? So that's the second question. The third question is, yes, Japan was our enemy. And we fought a bitter war against them. Yes, they were enemy, but they're an enemy of yesterday. Does Taiwan have an enemy today? Yes. Who is Taiwan's today's enemy? It's Communist China. So why do we still remember yesterday's enemy and without really noticing our today's enemy? Isn't that a strange question? And if we push the question a little bit further, should we ask, who's the one that make us attached to opposing yesterday's enemy and without realizing who today's enemy is? The answer is today's enemy who makes us think so. So isn't that clear? So in that sense, that shouldn't we concentrate more on today's enemy rather than yesterday's enemy? Shouldn't that be the primary question the KMT leader or the biggest opposition leader in Taiwan should think about? So I'm not saying that condemning Japanese invasion is wrong. I'm just saying that probably we should pay more attention to today's enemy rather than yesterday's enemy. So Chairperson Zheng is simply repeating what the Chinese communists want her to say. It's absolutely a no-no. So in conclusion, I would say that Beijing make the best use of this opportunity to promote their official line internationally and also domestically for propaganda purpose. And on the part of Chairperson Zheng, she did not realize that the Chinese communists were so cunning and so smart, shall we say. So she fell into their trap and without really realizing it. Again, with this summit meeting between the CCP and also the KMT, that Xi Jinping would think that he has one additional card in his hands to deal with Trump when Trump is going to visit Beijing in mid-May. So he has an extra card to play against Trump. But anyway, we're not sure whether President Trump would buy it. Let's hope President Trump and his team would do the best in their upcoming meeting with Xi Jinping. Well, that's all I want to share with you today. I hope you liked today's program. And please share it with your friends if you haven't done so. And please subscribe to it. And please do remember to click the icon bell. And that's all for today. I'll see you next time.